and the television channel, so hopefully everybody's got their popcorn at home and is ready for our board meeting. Let's have the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And I really appreciate that our board members and clerks and town attorneys who have called in to this meeting. I'm sure that they had a flag in their family room that they pledged allegiance to. But as we said before, please mute your phones. Because we heard you read the pledge, and I don't know, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time anymore, so it was
slight delay between
it did give
communication.
us a little, didn't ruffle your feathers at all, though, did it, Bill?
Not a bit.
Well, one person who can't be muting their phone right now is the esteemed town clerk, Barbara Odenscott. If you could please do roll.
Councilman Dean? Councilman Dean?
No. I did ask to mute phones, so I guess I'm getting what I deserve.
Okay. Councilman Abbott?
Here.
Attorney Genesi?
Here. Present.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Here.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Present.
Councilman Cahill?
Here.
And could we please have the department heads that are present announce themselves so I have them in attendance?
Jeff Penley.
Colorado Patron. Orlando.
Okay, I heard 3 people. I believe that's correct, right?
And Joe Herbst is in the far back of the.
He's in the Netherlands.
And I'm on the phone.
Okay.
Are you really? He is practicing social distancing like I've never seen. He's in a different area code. And Barbara, just in case, Councilman Dean, if you have unmuted your phone, if you could just let Barbara know that you are present.
I thought you heard me.
Oh. Maybe
Okay, thank you. I
Okay.
can hear him pledge. I will now mute my phone unless I call a vote.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I realize it's tough, especially in these type of board meetings where there's so many votes by the board. You're going to be moving your finger on mute and off mute a lot, but believe me, the clarity to the people watching and listening at home is so much better if you have it on mute when you're not speaking. Our first order of business, we have some minutes from previous board meetings to consider for approval. I would make a motion to approve the April 16th. Pardon?
If that's your motion, I will second it.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye. I would move that we approve the April 23rd, 2020 workshop minutes as submitted by the town clerk.
Second.
Second.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, next order of business is consideration to approve the purchase order and bills. Councilman Abbott, was that you this week?
I reviewed the bills this week and found them all in order and recommend that we approve them as submitted by the Director of Finance.
I second.
Abbott?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
I'm sorry, Councilman Cahill, I'm used to looking at you people, I'm so sorry.
Okay, Barb. We miss you too.
You know,
I'm gonna have to get a picture up here.
Aye, by the way.
Thank you. Sorry about that. I can't remember if I called Councilman Dean. Did I call you Councilman Dean? Yeah, you did. Okay. Supervisor Flaherty.
aye, and we should all have the demeanor of Barb Scott during COVID-19, huh? If you don't laugh, you'd cry. Thank you, Barb.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Supervisor.
And I have reviewed the prepaid warrants as submitted by the Director of Finance, and I would make motion to approve those.
Second.
Was that Councilman Cahill? Excuse me, was that Councilman Cahill?
Yes, it was.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye. Okay, the next order of business, we're going to break from the sequence that is on the agenda because our Deputy Commissioner of Public Works, Art Patron, who runs the sewer department, is on the line right now, and I'd like to get to his items that are under his jurisdiction, so to speak, because he has another call to get on at 8 o'clock for, I would assume, sewage-related items. So, let's start with the lowest hanging fruit, which is, I would make a resolution to declare the following as surplus for trash recycled from the sewer department. A Borger load pump asset number 04004. Before anybody seconds it, well, maybe I should have done. Art, what is it?
It is it's our sludge pump that feeds our belt press and our centrifuge. It was worn, the housing is worn. It didn't make sense to purchase a new housing. We purchased a new and upgraded sludge pump. There is no redundancy pump for that, so we needed to move forward. Actually, we got a very, very good price on that pump.
Can I know last week we had you here going over a presentation of some of the things at the sewer department. Was that presentation, did it involve this item?
It did.
Okay. All right. Well, any of the board members have any questions, comments on this before we move forward?
No.
I do not.
Okay.
No.
Well, I was out of sequence, but now I will make propose a resolution to declare the following as surplus for trash recycled from the super department. The Borger load pump asset 04004.
Second.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Cataldi?
Sorry, you cut out. I didn't hear you. Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry, Councilman Cahill?
Okay.
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Thank you, Art.
All right, and that was low-hanging fruit for Art. Art, before I get into the next resolution, which on our agenda is number 4, which is I'm being taught Latin by Attorney Genesi. Non-pro-tunc. That is Latin, right, Charlie?
That's correct. It means now for then.
Yeah, I never heard it at Catholic Mass as a kid, but I would imagine that it is Latin. Can you, Art, just give us a kind of a brief understanding of why we're about to vote on this? What transpired in the last week?
Sure. As everyone knows, we're undergoing a large upgrade to the wastewater treatment plant. Part of that project entailed cutting a 30-inch return line from our clarifier did that. The contractors put in what we call a plug, or it's a large rubber balloon that's inflated and stops the flow. Sometime over the night of Friday, May 1st, that plug or balloon deflated and or became dislodged, which allowed a tremendous amount of flow into the new clarifiers and filled up our chem blower basement with 10 to 12 feet of not clean water. In that basement was and still is our new pumps, our existing pumps, and a document storage room. So, needless to say, the documents were soaked, as was everything else being flooded as they were. There were a couple boxes on the top shelf. The document storage room actually sits 4 steps above the rest of the basement, so there was a few boxes on the top shelf that only the bottoms got a little bit wet. To preserve these documents, we had a very limited window before they mold, mildew, and degrade further. We immediately called document restoration services in to evaluate it, give us prices, and get these things packaged and up and out. They need to be freeze-dried immediately to stop any of the items I just mentioned. So that happened. They were called in Monday. They came back on Tuesday. We went through that stuff. They were packaged up and shipped to Livonia, Michigan on Wednesday morning.
Okay. Thanks, Art. And I will say for anybody, I don't know if the Webster Herald got to their house today or if they've seen my supervisor's corner article this week pertained to this event on Saturday. And one thing Art didn't say is that I was really impressed by how everybody came together and really minimized what could have been a really bad situation. And I'd also like to say that in the aftermath of that, you know, how we are pursuing this as far as getting this fixed through insurance claims and of such. I mean, I really got to say, well done by Charlie Genesi as the town attorney and Art, because immediately they were on it to make sure that this isn't going to be, in my opinion, overburdensome to the taxpayers of the town. So, with that being said,
Tom, can I jump in? Well, you made a very good point, and I sort of overlooked it and everything that's been going on. I would like to thank our contractors mobilized immediately. Our engineer, he came in. Our electricians, they came in. We ran out of actually pumps to move everything. I called Joe Herbst. He had Joe Casper run over their pump in no time. So it definitely was a team effort. My guys staying all day and getting in, neck deep in this stuff. So it definitely was a team effort, and it's much appreciated. And that effort is still going on.
yeah.
I would like to add, if I could, excuse me, that, what I saw, because I went down there early on, shortly after Art called me, and they were still just trying to sort of triage what was going on. I had to leave to go to another event and came back maybe 3 hours later, and I could not believe the amount of pumps and the amount of pipes and the water that was flowing out of that basement, and everybody was just really pitching in and making it happen. So I want to also, from a board perspective, thank everybody for everything that they did to mitigate a really pretty bad situation.
Bill, Barry, John?
No, I concur. I got up there very late after everything was done, because I was down in, with the, on, I think it was a Saturday or Sunday, and I drove back up there, and I'm like, they were just, like, cleaning things up at the end of the day. And I'm like, what Art said was completely resolved. So, Art, thank you to you and your team and how you came together. It was amazing.
Thank you. The vendors, our vendors have been, and our contractors have been bending over backwards to help us out and keep us going. That's for sure.
Okay,
Without a doubt.
well, I am going to make an attempt to read off this proposed resolution and somewhat edit it down for brevity, but certainly Attorney Genesi let me know if I missed out on any of this here that should have been read off. But this is a resolution, nunc-pro-tunc, authorizing the award of emergency contract for the Webster Pollution Control Facility. At a regular meeting of the town board on the 7th day of May 2020, the 5 board members were present. The following resolution is being offered up by Town Supervisor Flaherty. Whereas on Friday, May 1st, 2020, as part of construction of a new secondary clarifiers at the Town of Webster Waste Center Sewer Department, the general contractor, Blue Heron Construction, was making final connections of the existing town aeration tank affluent to the new secondary clarifier influent piping, and whereas part of this work, the contractor installed 2 inflatable plugs into aeration tank piping to isolate the flock tank influent structures and piping in order to make the connections. And whereas on the evening of May 1st, 2020, one of the inflatable plugs failed. Whereas in addition to the above other detriments, record retention room was also flooded, resulting in damage to existing important historical paper records retained in this room. Whereas numerous actions have taken place since the incident to mitigate damages and repair, disinfect, and restore the basement and the pump room, replace certain damaged materials and equipment, it is also necessary to restore the important historical paper records, which must be preserved and salvaged with all deliberate speed. Whereas the incident was unforeseen and arose out of unforeseen occurrence, whereas in regards to the salvage of the wet documents that have been submerged in sewage, time is of the absolute essence to minimize further degradation as well as mold growth, with time of the essence to process and ship said records as soon as possible. And whereas the Town Board of Webster was not able to call a special meeting on short notice to comply with the competitive bidding requirements of General Municipal Law 103, paragraph 4, and whereas there are few, if any, providers for the service of salvaging historical records after an incident such as occurred herein, whereas the Deputy Commissioner of Public Works Sewer has researched and contacted ServPro to assist with salvaging these records, which company partners with Document Restoration Services of Livonia, Michigan, which the Deputy Commissioner of Public Works has determined, based upon research and past experience, to be possessing of the special professional or technical skills to salvage said records. Whereas the time of being the essence, the Deputy Commissioner of Public Works Sewer received verbal authorization to sign a work agreement to allow the work commence on Wednesday morning, May 6th, and in fact, team from DRS was on site at 8:30 to begin the packing. The initial estimate being $27,310 to complete their process and digitize all the documents. Whereas these actions by the Town of Webster are classified as Type 2 actions pursuant to Section 617.5 of the New York Codes, Rules, and Regulations and the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act, and thus not subject to review under seeker, and determined not to have significant impact on the environment or precluded from environmental review under the Environmental Conservation Law, the Town of Webster does hereby authorize the awarding of a contract for said salvaging, processing, and digitalizing the damaged records, and directs the supervisor, nunc-pro-tunc, to execute an appropriate contract for said purpose.
Second?
Can I jump in? I don't mean to stop the proceeding. Again, there was an updated proposal, which is $27,909.45 as an estimate. I think I sent that off earlier.
And I appreciate it. I guess if,
I did see that.
for seconding and approving this motion, I think one thing that it should be discussed, usually, obviously, we don't like to make motions on estimates. We like definitive numbers, contracts, not to exceed. I think because of the situation and the fact that insurance is well aware of this situation, and without getting into too much detail, where this cost, the majority, if not all of it, is going to be covered by insurance. So if that has any bearing on how the board feels about voting on this, or you have any more questions on that, by all means.
I would also imagine that until they actually get into doing this, they're not going to know exactly how many pages can be saved and digitalized. So when we say estimate, it truly is an estimate. I know that the personnel, the wastewater treatment plant did give them guidelines of what needed to be saved and what didn't. So we can't wait for the final price because this has to be done now. I'm comfortable with the estimate.
So,
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and the estimates, the paperwork I forward over, there are some unknowns, and one of the biggest unknowns is logistics being freight, FedEx. So, and that is stated on there as an estimate. So it will change.
Art, did they give you a not to exceed price?
No, they did not, because they do not know. As far as you can see, pretty much everything is bulleted out, Bill. They do it by cubic foot. There is no not to exceed price because, again, they don't know the freight on it, and they did not do that. But I think the rest of it is pretty solid. I looking at the estimates and talking with a gentleman.
and one more clarification on this. Coming from a family that is very immersed in insurance, that I think it is important when I say it. Insurance has been notified. This is the contractor's insurance. Our insurance carrier has also been contacted, but this seems to be, and without getting into a ton of detail, the room that it happened and the connections where it happened, basically from a legal standpoint, the contractor owns that area at that time. Is that a good way to explain it, Attorney Genesi?
Our opinion is that the town may have a claim here, but yes, it's our opinion, mine and Mr. Patron's, that we had a conversation, pretty long conversation with the engineer on this. We believe that they are it's their responsibility. Yes.
Okay.
Could I make one suggestion, Supervisor and Councilwoman Cataldi? If you could just make a slight amendment then to the number and just state that the initial best estimate is $27,909.45. You want to change that as amendment to the resolution?
Yep.
Yes.
So Supervisor, why don't you amend that, and then I will second your amendment.
So everything I just read,
Just amend
the
number.
amendment of the dollar amount to $27,909 and how many cents was that?
35 cents.
Okay, 35 cents. And I have made that motion. I think I just heard a second from Deputy Supervisor Cataldi.
Yes.
Then I will call the vote. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Councilman Dean, you may need to unmute your phone.
I said aye.
Oh,
Thank you.
Not coming through.
We got you. Art, hopefully we got you in time for your 8 o'clock, sewer association Zoom meeting.
I appreciate accommodating me, and I appreciate all the support over the last few days.
All right, thanks, Art.
Art, thank you for all you're doing, bud.
So, thank you.
All right, so now we'll go back to the sequence per the agenda, and Finance Director Paul Adams, you still with us?
I'm still here, Tom.
All right. Did you get a chance to work out today, Paul?
Not today. Actually, I did today, yes, I did.
I know it's tough with now you got to just do body weight because you can't go to the gym, but it'll come. Don't worry.
We're limited.
Yeah. Would you just kind of give a Reader's Digest version of what a budget transfer is and?
Yeah, I've made I'm proposing a series of budget transfers. A number of them relate to the settlement of the white and blue collar union agreements. Because at the time the budget was done, the budget was finalized back in October, the union contracts for blue and white were not yet settled. So we put some money in contingency. So these transfers, a number of these transfers, move the money from contingency to the specific line items where it looks like that we need it. And there are a few other house cleaning transfers that have been made as well.
Thank you, Paul. Obviously we got out the itemization of these transfers to the board. I think yesterday or early today. I hope the board has gotten a chance to review the 3 pages, and do they have any questions on any of these?
It's all salaries.
Yeah, I mean, and
I did,
pardon?
I did review them and I did not have questions.
Yeah. In layman terms, and for anybody who's watching or whatever, it doesn't change the bottom line of the budget. You're just moving line items around to be more appropriately
That's
tied,
correct.
and that's the best way I can explain it. So, I make a resolution propose a resolution to approve the budget transfers as presented by Paul Adams, Webster's Director of Finance.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean? Councilman Dean?
It's not coming through.
Aye.
There.
Hey! A little bit of a delay, Barry.
Tony?
Well, it seems like every time I turn this mute off, it stays off.
Don't worry about it. We'll get through.
Thank you.
The next one is kind of turned into a 3A, and 3B configuration, and I'm going to be looking for Attorney Genesi to help navigate me through this, because I know we certainly are going to do a resolution first of the amendment of Parkland Trust, but I don't know where the EIS portion that we discussed earlier comes into play in this, Charlie. So,
Sure.
Take care of the transfers first.
should I just do the transfer resolution, get through that with the board, and then we'll move on to the authorization to the supervisor to sign a contract, and then talk about the EIS,
Yep.
or?
Well, yeah, I think you can talk about the seeker can be part of the resolution to authorize.
Okay. All right, well, resolution, but certainly, before we vote on it, just for everybody's edification of how this transpired, I mean, do the board members have any questions or comments on why money has to be moved from one fund to another?
I would do the transfers, and that would probably explain it.
You think so?
I hope so.
All right. Well, I'm
a
gonna,
little background, Tom, or?
you know what, Paul? Thank you. If you wouldn't mind.
Yeah, basically, Webster Golf Club decided to cancel their open space agreement a few months ago. And at the time that it was canceled, they had to pay back, in accordance with the agreement, had to pay back property taxes for, I believe it was about a 3-year term, and they were also subject to a penalty. And the penalty amount was $133,407, which was deposited and recorded as revenue in the Parkland Trust Fund. And at this point, since it is a penalty, and in accordance with Town Code Section 152-11, the town is actually allowed to use penalties as penalties like this for parkland or open space acquisition. So we're in the process of purchasing a piece of property owned by the Brucker family. And so we would like to use this penalty portion to purchase that property. The bulk of the purchase, of the entire purchase, will come from general fund. So this resolution is basically authorizing a transfer from the Parkland Trust Fund back over to general fund, so the entire purchase cost can come out of one fund. If you can follow that.
Totally. And that was,
Yeah.
Paul, thank you.
You're welcome.
As I think that, as an explanation, will be the first part of a total understanding of it. When we do this next resolution, $133,000 that Paul just described is not the total price of the land the town is purchasing, but it is more than 50% of that price, and we're bringing it over. And we'll get into the total price when we get into what we're authorizing the supervisor to sign a sales contract for. So, I am proposing a resolution to amend the Parkland Trust Fund budget to transfer open space cancellation penalties to the general fund to partially finance the purchase of open space. The penalties are being utilized in compliance with Town Code Section 152-11 to contribute toward the purchase of the Brucker property on Phillips Road. The amendment will appropriate fund balance in the amount of $133,407 and fund the transfer to the general fund via account E9901.9003.
Second. The number you quoted was wrong. It should be $133,407.
Right.
Yeah, you said $133.
I hope I said $133,407.
Now you did.
Yes, that's correct.
That's what I thought I heard.
Okay. What's a few zeros amongst friends, right? Okay.
Was that may I ask, was that Councilman Cahill who did second that?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Would you like me to call the vote, Supervisor Flaherty?
Yes, please.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, one thing that Town Clerk Ms. Otten Scott has taught me in my first 4 months is that I should not propose a resolution to authorize myself to sign a contract, so.
No, you can.
Okay, Tom, I'd like to making out a resolution to authorize the supervisor to sign a sales contract for the purchase of a portion of 280 Phillips Road.
Second.
Councilman Dean,
Aye.
Councilman Abbott,
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi,
Aye.
Councilman Cahill,
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty.
Aye. And now, as this all ticks and ties, especially for the people that are watching this live or watching the future, the sales contract price is $225,000, and it's approximately 39, a little slightly less than 40 acres. Is that correct, Attorney Genesi?
Yes. Yes, yes. Just to clarify too, because we will put this in the, and I'm going to ask our clerk to put this in. The tax account number is 050.02-1-39.1. The purchase price is $225,000. However, as part of the negotiations, which have been discussed both in executive session and in workshop meetings openly, we have agreed, because they came down so much on the initial requesting price after negotiation, we've agreed to give them a $3,000 credit towards the subdivision costs. In other words, the cost of engineering, surveying, and applying for approval to subdivide the property so that they can split the current property into two parcels, one of which will be sold to us. And we are going to pay $3,000, so the total price will be $228,000. That being said, Mr. Supervisor, if you want, then we can do a separate seeker resolution on this, because we didn't get the seeker.
Okay, and when you say a separate seeker resolution, are we now delving into the EIS and?
I'll just give the specifics on here. This is the purchase of this property will be a type 1 action because pursuant to 6 NYCRR 617.4C subdivision 39, it is over 25 acres. If it was under 25, it would be a type 2, and we really wouldn't have to concern ourselves, but because of the number of acres, we have to consider this a type 1. Mr. Benway is our expert. I'm going to rely on him for this, but my understanding is that because it's a type 1, we need to have the town board name itself as lead agency, or it should be the agency. And there would be part of the motion, and the other part of the motion would be that we would seek out any involved agencies, although I'm not sure that there will be any, but we can check on that. This property does not abut any other properties, including a county road, even though it has the address of 280 Phillips Road. It is not on the road. So the property we're purchasing is strictly landlocked and does not abut any properties owned or affected by any other municipality. Lastly, we will have to have a certain period of time, I believe it's 20 days, to put together an EAF, an environmental assessment form, or if there are any involved agencies, they can request it. If and Jeff, I'm asking you to confirm this, please, if you're on.
Yes.
If the environmental assessment form shows that we need to do an EIS, environmental impact statement, then we go ahead and we will have to either show that there are no impacts, no negative impacts, or that those impacts will be mitigated. Does that sound correct, Jeff?
That would be correct. We have to decide if there's a determination the project will not have a significant impact on the environment, which I think buying open space meets that.
And lastly, Barbara will have, the town clerk will have to publish the resolution, not this one, not the seeker, although it probably wouldn't be a bad idea. This one will also publish the resolution to purchase as the No, I take it back. I'm getting ahead of myself. No, that's fine. We don't have to publish this. This is not any sort of referendum or publication. So we'll go on that.
Bill, do we have to declare this a type 1?
Yes.
I would declare this as a type 1 seeker act under seeker and forward the information to any agencies that are relative to it and complete the type 1 action review.
Second.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill? Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Saldi?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. And, well, I want to thank Charlie Genesi and Bill Abbott for getting us through that one, because that's interesting. But all being said, you know, and Charlie, you said it earlier when you started the details of a EIS type 1. This has been discussed in no less than 3 or 4 open meetings. So there's been plenty of back and forth on the purchase of this land. The only part of those discussions that were in executive session were when the board was discussing negotiating price, which I would hope everybody would understand why we can't go out and do that to the world. I would think that if anybody who knows land, almost 40 acres for $225,000. I think this board and Charlie and everybody has done a very good job for the town of Webster, getting green space and getting it where we don't give up our arm and a leg. So thank you, everybody. Okay, next up, how's your water doing there, Bill?
Halfway.
Halfway. Okay, not bad. Not bad. All right. You should see, he brings in a thimble of water now, Barry, so he's really, you know, it's tough. I can't, you know. Along the same lines of having many meetings, it was a very big discussion at last week's town board workshop. And I am making a resolution after all of that, or no, actually it was April 23rd. We just approved the minutes on that, where we discussed the Ridge Road multimodal sidewalk project. And Bill, you probably could comment on this the best. This thing has been percolating for about 3 years, has it not,
Yes.
Bill? And this is what happens when you get state, federal government involved, everything. It takes about 3 years to get something done. But we are at the altar.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. What a long, strange trip it's been. I'm sorry, gang, that I wasn't around it for 90% of the trip. But I am going to propose a resolution right now to accept the low bid that we got on this project from a contractor in the March 31st sealed bid opening. Before I do that, because we have had so much discussion on this at the workshop on the 23rd, is there any questions or comments that the board members have? Okay. Then the only, I mean, I know that it's still a work in process. I know that you were working, Jeff, with the engineers on it, trying to still see if we can get some more money out of the state on this.
We did submit a letter to the state DOT, their main office in Albany, for reserve funds that end up at the end of their calendar year.
Haven't heard from them.
Not yet.
But the only thing that could happen from that is positive for us.
Absolutely.
We are accepting and voting on something that is as is. It works into the budget that has been voted on prior. So the only thing that can come from what Jeff and the engineer are doing is positive to us. We'll see within COVID-19 if the state is, again,
Solid.
yeah, well, that's just, yeah. Okay, so this is a resolution of the Webster Town Board to award a contract with Nardozzi Construction, Inc. for the Ridge Road Multimodal Corridor Project, PIN 3756.0. At a regular meeting of the Town Board of Webster held at the Town Board meeting room on May 7th, 2020, the 5 board members present, the following resolution was offered by Supervisor Flaherty. Whereas the town of Webster was awarded funding to provide 8,000 linear feet of sidewalks along Ridge Road from 5 Mile Line Road to Rachel Drive, and whereas the town board acted as the lead agency and the environmental impacts were addressed in accordance with the National Environmental Policy Act, and the project was classified as a C-list categorical exclusion, and whereas the town board acted as the lead agency in accordance with the State Environmental Quality Review Act, SEQR, and the project is a Type 2 action under Part 617, Title 6, the compilation of codes, rules, and regulations of the state of New York, and no further action was required, and whereas the town of Webster opened bids for the project on March 31st, 2020 at 2 p.m., and whereas the project was advertised in the contract reporter and the Webster Herald as required, and whereas 2 bids were publicly opened and read aloud on March 31st, 2020, and whereas the following bids were received: Nardozzi Paving and Construction, $1,395,034.50, and Villager Construction, Inc. for $1,886,000.00. Whereas the bids were reviewed by the project engineer, town finance director, and town clerk, and there were no errors or informalities, now therefore be resolved that the Webster Town Board authorizes the supervisor to sign a contract with Nardozzi Paving and Construction, LLC, 124 North Genesee Street, Geneva, New York, for the Ridge Road Multimodal Project, and the funds for this project shall be obtained from the New York State Transportation Alternatives Program, TAP, and the town of Webster. That is the motion.
Second.
Second.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
And Barbara, if I was so worried that today reading, making sure everything was accurate on this and there was no surprises, if I would have really read that last line, I just made a resolution to authorize myself to sign something, didn't I, Barbara?
Mm-hmm. That's fine.
And proving
Everyone supported it.
that's true, and proving that Bill has been involved in this project from the beginning. I don't think I got the word out of my mouth before he seconded it. You want...
Well, John didn't hear me, so he got credit.
Did he? Is that all? Hey, just for, like I said, everybody watching at home live or watching this in the future tape, I know that, green space, we just did green space. Green space is a hot topic in the town of Webster. A lot of people want green space. We just bought 40 acres for a very good price of green space. A lot of people want sidewalks in Webster. If my math is correct, 8,000 feet of sidewalk is 1.5 miles. Is that about right, Jeff?
That's correct.
Okay. And obviously along Ridge Road there, it's very good to have it up there. And you're talking about something that is $2 million. It gives you some perspective that saying we should get sidewalks and just what you experienced, and Bill, I look at you because you're in the room, 3 years. Now, a lot of that's because we got 75–80% of the funding from grants and whatever.
Yeah, state and federal fund.
Now, if we wanted to do this quicker, Bill, tell me if I'm wrong, we could have paid the $2 million out of the town money.
If we had it.
He's a good straight man for it. My point is that, it took 3 years, but we also get that benefit and save the taxpayers of Webster not having to spend $2 million to get it spending a lot less of the town's taxpayer money. So, I don't know, for my money, no pun intended, I know it was a drawn out 3 years, but it's over now. We'll move on. And I'll get off my soapbox since Bill's thimble is down to a quarter of the water. All right. The next topic, and I want to make sure as we get into this, and Jeffrey, I'm looking to you. The topic item has the resolution of the town board to declare the town board as the lead agency for the READY projects and issuing determination of significance. But the resolution heading, town board determining the Lake Ontario Resilience and Economic Development Initiative projects are type 1 action. And are do these match?
Yes, what we did before is we had to send out about 16 letters to different agencies as interested or involved agencies, and they had to agree that the town board was going to be the lead agent. So the first one you did a couple weeks ago says that you wanted to be lead agent. Now we can actually say that the town board is the lead agency, and the consulting engineers have put together the parts 2 and 3 of the seeker and have made their determinations of non-significance. That's the next step in the process.
Okay, and I can see in the body of it that it is naming, this is saying that we're the lead agency. The heading up top is, well, I'll read it, and it just didn't, to me, match exactly what the agenda item is, but that might have been more my fault because I sent the agenda in. So unless this is authorizing me to sign something, and I don't think it is.
No, this is just a seeker.
Yeah,
Just
so
seeker,
it's-
we're just declaring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say this, once again, the READY project has probably been discussed in 5-6 meetings in the last, at least in the last 4 months. $2.8 million in state money for projects down at the sandbar. Going to be a really nice thing for the town of Webster. And the majority of that money, 95% of it is through grants.
Correct.
Okay. With that being said, I'm proposing a resolution of the Webster Town Board determining that the Lake Ontario Resiliency and Economic Development Initiative, READY, projects are a type 1 action and will not have a significant adverse impact on the environment. At a regular meeting of the Town Board of Webster on Thursday, May 7, 2020, and all town board members were present. Following resolution is being offered by Supervisor Flaherty. Whereas the town of Webster is proposing the following town of Webster READY funded projects located in the town of Webster, Monroe County, New York. And whereas the projects include READY infrastructure improvements project, the West Webster Fire Department dock project, the Lake Road Pump Station Improvements Project, and the Lake Road Well Decommissioning Project, hereafter called projects. And whereas the projects have been classified as a type 1 action as defined by the State Environmental Quality Review Act, Seeker, and 6 NYCRR Part 617.4, and whereas the Town of Webster Town Board sent a letter and Part 1 of a full environmental assessment form to other potential interested agencies and involved agencies, as these terms are defined in the Seeker regulations found in Part at 6 NYCRR Part 617.2, and to complete a coordinated review of the projects, and whereas electronic copies of the coordinated review materials were sent to interested and involved parties on April 15, 2020, to ensure that the documents were received due to the recent transition to remove working for many agencies. I think that's because of COVID. And whereas responses from interested and involved agencies were requested, and each of the potentially interested and involved agencies have agreed to or raised no objection to the Town of Webster Board serving as the lead agency for the projects. And whereas pursuant to the Seeker regulations, the Town of Webster Town Board has considered the significance of the potential environmental impacts of the projects by A, using the criteria specified in section 617.7 of the Seeker regulations, and B, examining the FEAF for the projects, including the facts and conclusions in Part 1, 2, and 3 of the FEAF, together with other available supporting information to identify the relevant areas of environmental concern. Now, therefore be resolved that the Town of Webster Board hereby establishes itself as the lead agency for the projects, and be it further resolved that based upon the examination of the FEAF and other valuable supporting information, and considering both the magnitude and importance of each relevant area of environmental concern, and based further upon the town's knowledge of the area surrounding the projects, the Town of Webster Town Board makes the determination that the projects will not have significant adverse environmental impact, and the projects will not require the preparation of a draft environmental impact statement, and be it further resolved that as a consequence of such findings and declaration, and in compliance with the requirements of seeker, the Town of Webster Board as lead agency hereby directs the Town of Webster's supervisor to sign the FEAF Part 3 determination of significance, indicating that a negative declaration has been issued for the projects. This resolution shall take effect immediately and will be properly noticed.
Second.
Was that Councilman Abbott?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
All right. Moving along, I just got to decompress from reading these. I feel like I've been in law school reading these the last 10 minutes.
You want me to do this? Make it faster?
Oh, Bill.
I will move that we'll authorize a surplus, a transfer of a 2002 Sterling 10-wheel dump, VIN number 2FCHAZBD528K43270, asset number 2279, to go to the auction in May. A 2004 Hyundai Loader, asset 2563, to go to auction in May. And a 68 internal tractor dozer, international tractor dozer, asset 233, go to the May auction.
Second.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill? Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Thank you.
You might have missed me, Barbara.
Oh, excuse me, Supervisor Flaherty, I did miss you. Would you like to vote?
Sure. Aye. Two things. One, hey, Bill, you're on a roll. If you don't mind doing the next one, but before you do, Joe, Herbs, any words? Any comments?
No,
You're all good?
Other than that dozer, it's probably the oldest thing going to auction that we own in the town. It's a 1968.
Who buys something like that? For like an antique?
Farmer.
For every seat,
They bought
Yep,
that, they bought that in 1968 to work at the Webster landfill at the time. It was the sole piece of equipment used down there at that time, down on DeWitt Road.
Wow. Well, it doesn't owe us anything.
Did Councilman Dean purchase it in 1968?
No, I didn't. I wasn't there then. I didn't start till 71. That's just when they purchased it.
That's amazing. Bill, you want to keep rolling?
I would move for surplus or transfer from Parks and Recreation, a lobby sofa 5578 to trash, and a love seat that goes with it 5579 to trash.
Second.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. And I can only hope that sofa and love seat aren't from 1968, but they're trash, so we don't have to worry about it anymore.
One thing to add to the agenda.
Yes.
You wanted to do that.
Yeah, and while we're queuing up in the next 2 or 3 minutes to anybody who wants to call in to 872-7011, we have one last formal item that I'm hoping that we can just get through very quickly, and that is the board approving a special use permit. Of course, Bill, now I got the computer.
1656 Ridge Road
Jeff,
for a pole barn.
can you explain what the gentleman who is asking for this is?
Yes, I can. The gentleman who purchased this property wishes to do some outside storage facilities. And the building was an old manufacturing facility from long ago. But the project to build an additional building, he needed a variance as well as a special use permit from the town board to get this installed and meet all the conditions in our code book. So it's been a long road for him, and he's ready to start building.
Yeah, and he has been incredibly patient through a sequence of things that, you know, we're all human, and I don't know if the town of Webster has done this guy our best foot forward, but let's finish it and get the guy on his way. Bill, you're on a roll. How would you propose that resolution?
I would move that the town board issue a special use.
Town attorney, I just want to advise that you need to schedule a public hearing for this. In order to grant a special use permit under Part 22821B, he has to have a public hearing. So after the public hearing, if everything is met, then he can be granted the special use permit, but not yet. He received final approval from the planning board, but he still needs, because this is a special use permit request, it needs to go to a public hearing. So the motion would be tonight to schedule a public hearing.
Which would be the earliest on our May 21st board meeting?
That's correct.
No.
Yes.
No. The earliest you could have it would be June 4th because of the timing of publishing. And there's not 5 weeks in the month of May, so the earliest would be June 4th.
I guess we gotta do June 4th.
Okay. Well, I don't even know if we need to vote on anything, right?
No,
We
just
schedule
to set the public hearing.
Okay. Yeah, okay, well. Bill's thimble of water is getting down to the bottom. For all you people watching on TV live or live streaming, 872-7011. Love to hear from you. It is 8:35, so I'll keep it going till 8:40. And then we will adjourn. We don't get...
Great. Are you going to set the public hearing?
Yeah, I want to set the public hearing for 1656 Ridge Road for June 4th at 7:30.
Second.
Councilman Abbott?
Aye.
Councilman Dean?
Aye.
Councilman Cahill?
Aye.
Councilwoman Cataldi? Aye. Supervisor Flaherty?
Aye. All right, as we wait on the, I'm sure, barrage of phone calls that we're going to get in the next 5 minutes, that would be actually kind of nice. For anybody who has not seen yet, our Director of Communications, Karen Buck, has been posting it, I think, most of the day. Monroe County did a release on it, that we will be distributing facial masks on Saturday, May 9th, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., right in front of the courthouse here, where the town board meeting room is.
Drive in, put your hand out, and keep going.
There you go, Bill, that's the way to do it. They're gonna drive in, they will just slow down to about 2 miles an hour, a masked, gloved volunteer will hand them a bag with 12 of these masks. They're free. We're giving them out to
On
citizens.
Wednesday too, correct?
That is correct. We are doing it both on Saturday, May 9th, between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m., and we are also going to do it again on Wednesday, May 13th, between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. I really hope people take us up and make the drive down, and it's about 5 minutes out of your day. You get 12 masks for free. Compliments of Monroe County. Trying to think of what else. What are we down here today? 8:37 p.m.
Tom, if I could comment on something, I just want to thank the community. County Legislator Matt Terp sponsored a food drive for the Hope House, to benefit the Hope House last Saturday. And I know that I was down there along with Councilman Dean and Councilman Cahill, volunteering for that effort. And the community was just so generous with an outpouring of, oh my gosh, so many supplies and quiet donations. It was really incredible. And I just want to thank the community for their generosity in restocking the Hope House.
Thank you, Betty. And I got to say, I mean, for as bad as, obviously COVID-19 has been, there have been some pretty cool things that have come up. And in fact, the distribution of masks, Legislator Matt Terp, Legislator George Hebert, Senator Pam Helming, State Assemblyman Mark Johns, all of them have been involved, and I think will be volunteering on one or both of those days that it's open. So it's been pretty impressive how people have galvanized together to try to help out. Actually, we're going to try with these masks also to get them delivered over the next week out to senior living centers that might not have the ability to drive in for them. Some housing projects that maybe wouldn't be able to drive into. Superintendent of the schools, Carmen Gamina, and I talked this morning, and we're going to get them several thousand masks for their employees and for students and things. Of course, from the sounds of it, that might not be utilized until September, but nonetheless, it's been a very good sharing of resources, and can't thank people enough. And guess what, gang? We must have bored people out in the hour and 10 minutes, Bill, because nobody wanted to call us. So, unless anybody has it, Barbara, do you have anything you want to say?
I can just comment that we are still issuing dog licenses via mail or a drop box, and we are working with people by guiding them what to do if they have new dogs. So they're welcome to call us at 872-7057. And also, as far as our county tax payments, we processed every single payment that was received in our office as of Monday. We were right up to snuff. So if somebody does not have a check cashed in their account, I would highly advise them to just check with their bank. Things are taking a little bit longer. I do not know why. but we have processed all payments, and the County of Monroe will be sending out notices to anyone who has a balance due on their account, and those notices will be going out in the mail on Friday. And due to the emergency order by Adam Bello, our county executive, we do have about 600 residents in the town of Webster who did overpay the interest on their taxes, and they will receive refunds by the end of May. And if you don't receive a refund, that means you paid your bill accurately, and thank you very much. That is all I have to say.
All right. Bill?
Barb, you're awesome.
I approved about 175 of those returns on Wednesday.
What's the average dollar amount, Bill?
The ones I did this time were between $6 and $10.
Oh,
The next group is the lot higher bunch.
yeah, that's right, because it'll be the 3% gap. John, Patty, or Barry? Any comments? Or?
No, thanks.
All right.
No, I have not.
All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody, and
See you in 2 weeks.
this meeting is adjourned.